The satsang on the book I Am the Child continues. Sat reads to the end of chapter 1.
Did I not accept the false identity of myself only to later find out that it did not feel good or natural, and that it was full of effort? How many of us can testify to that? That didn't feel good or natural, and that it was full of effort. Didn't this division make me feel small and in need of help? Didn't it make me believe in my finite body and mind, leaving me tossed between good and bad? Didn't this idea of two, my body and yours, not start a chain of misunderstanding, fear, and trouble? As adults, have we stopped to question why life in most cases is not comfortable no matter how much effort we put forth? Do we not see that what we take ourselves to be is not what we are? And should we not rejoice in this good news? Shouldn't our goal in life be going back home with full awareness of this wisdom? We take ourselves to be this personality, which is no more than an idea. The more ideas we accept, the stronger this personality or ego becomes. This is very important, this sentence. The more ideas we accept, the strongest this personality or ego becomes. Here, it is important to notice that our reality is neither the personality nor its shell. Shell means body. We can also gradually end the dreaming for ourselves and see the reality of our child as it is and emphasize on his or her reality more than the mere body. This way we, as well as our child, can live in this world with full awareness of origin. This is what these writings are pointing us to, going back home while embodied and raising a child while being full aware that the child is not just this body, personality, thinker, or ego. After the development of the thinker, there was a time in my youth during which I remember wondering what happened to me. Where did all of this discomfort come from at such a young age? Why are my thoughts so uncomfortable? Why do most of my thoughts make me either fear them, run away from them, or fight them? I did wonder what happened. If I didn't do anything, why am I miserable? This was the time when I sat in a room alone, screamed for help. I did not know what had happened to me. I was not given a way out. Why was I not comfortable in my own skin? Every being that has left home will eventually scream if wisdom has not been given to them. Some come to scream sooner and some later. I did it at a young age. How can wrong identification feel right? How can one be happy when every thought seems and feels real? We were never that which we were taught to be. From that moment of sitting in the room alone, my crusade to find the truth and the cause of suffering started. Now many decades have passed. These writings are the essence of my finding, in hope that our misidentification will loosen itself and that we will prevent our child from misidentifying. Questioning life as we know it and turning our curiosity toward ourselves is the way to go. Suffering, pain, struggle are not our reality. However, due to the wrong identification, they are accepted to be so by humanity. I cannot just sit by and witness babies being born and watch them go through the same belief system. I did not want to see the same old process carry out generation after generation. With the birth of my grandchildren, the desire to write became urgent in hope that as parents we can remove the cataract of ignorance from our vision by the light of wisdom. Now this saying makes more sense to us. Jesus said, "Let the children come to me, and do not hinder them, for the kingdom of heaven belongs to such as these." There was years and years and years that I was seeing around me from friends and relatives and society what causes pain and discomfort being transformed from one person to another, one parent to another child. It was agonizing for me, actually. It should have not been, because I raised my kids the best I knew how, but it still pains me. So it's up to us. Like I took a vow to do a crusade to find the cause of suffering, and finally 20 years later in the Most Precious, the first question and answer, it was fulfilled. I think our highest duty to ourselves and our children, according to these writings, is love, understanding, and removal of baggage for ourselves and for others. Always the light can blind people and overlook it. So I say that because to me these words are very precious, so that I hope that we all use it and we take our torch and bring some light to this dream. Any comment?
It's overwhelming. The misunderstanding and the misidentifying is overwhelming. But something that you just shared, Sat, you said that now that we know what happened, this should help us or keep us from judging ourselves or judging others, which is a huge gift. And I wonder if you could tell us more about that.
Before we knew what was really going on, before we had this map of what happened to us, it was personality against personality. We either liked someone or we didn't. We either liked ourselves or we didn't. And that could be happening daily. We could condemn ourselves or someone else. But if we contemplate on this first chapter, we realize that there is two aspects to it. One is to realize what happened to us. Where did we go that is so uncomfortable? And where did we come from? And what is natural? And what is painful? The second aspect of it is, by this understanding, watch ourselves and our child. In other words, as soon as, even at our age, as soon as we want to accept a concept, believe a concept, then there is a red flag there. I'm not here to gather concept, I'm here to drop him. When your child wants to believe something that creates fear in them, that is the time to see the red flag and remedy it. Either remedy it in the silence, which is really powerful if you know how to do it, or by consulting words, something that heals them, reminding them who they are, and all of that. I'm not saying we can correct the world. In fact, I'm saying don't do that. By just realizing where we came from and what happened to us, I think that is half of the battle.
When you asked what kind of you get out of this, I was just thinking about it and writing down kind of what I've been, I think, feeling from these past few weeks is two things. One is it just so clearly, this map solidifies how backwards the predominant way of living is. And how absolutely, when you look at the map and where we come from, how crazy it is, the way that people live. And then something else that this chapter has done, it has put so many additional question marks and holes in Maya, in these thoughts, in these ideas. It weakens its reality, and it puts some wind in the sails of questioning it, and it makes it easier not to go with it, because the map shows you so many different ways in a way that feels so clear how crazy some of it is. Those are two takeaways, and I'm super, super grateful, not just for this book, but for you reading it to us this way. It did something for me that I'm very appreciative of.
What I would share is I've been through many journeys with this chapter, and I've had many different reactions to it. In the beginning, confusion, trying to figure it out, to sadness, to grief, to shock, to misbelief, or not that I didn't believe it, but like, my God, I can't believe all this happened to us. And now when you read it to us, I felt a sense of hopefulness and such good news. Like, we in this lifetime have heard this, and we have the map to do it. And that's the highest ever. It's so incredible. And there are steps to undo what was done to us.
Yes, that is exactly why I wanted it to be pulled up again. It's really a map. And the good news is that we know it first. And it's such a relief to know what happened to us happened to every born child. And we are the few in all over the world. I'm sure there are many people that came to the same conclusion, but compared to the population, it's still very few that we know. And at least we feel the relief. Just knowing it is good enough. And then when the soul is ripen enough, it becomes easy to practice it. It becomes something that, yeah, this is my life now. I know how to not put more impression on myself, not allow the world to shock me. The least will happen is we're watchful of not gathering more.
I was just wondering if you could share on not giving our baggage to our children. I'm trying to figure out that a little bit more.
This book does go another chapter on how to not do it. Nobody in the world is without baggage. The baggage brought us to these realms again. It's not your baggage, it's just the baggage that is created here under the fact that we were born. Those of you that have grown-up children, it's not your responsibility anymore to interfere or try to put their baggage down if they have any, but to give them this book so that they can read it, and it would be a map for them in case later on in their life they have a question or they're frustrated or they have some sort of an anxiety. Then they know what it is and they can trace their steps back.
I had a new perspective about what you said here, Sat. Going from I am somebody to I am, on the surface, it seems like we're going to strip ourselves from the survival skills, the knowledge of this world. But as I'm thinking about it, I see that it's actually going home. We throw away the old maps that are obsolete and are just not useful anymore and get us more lost. And my understanding of the baggage that you're talking about is relying on the mind to show us the way and not on the whole truth that is our reality. Even at the level of managing Maya, it's better not to rely on the mind. This is just something that just dawned on me as you were reading.
Absolutely. It's not that you lose your education. What happens is you don't rely on your survival. The ego wants to survive. But the only thing it can do is have fear of not surviving. The real survival is the self. That's the one that survives from the beginning to eternity. The ego just display out of belief system, wanting to survive, and that is just the fear, and it will do any extent of things, whether it's education, whether it's hard work, whether it is whatever it is, whether to avoid, whether to resist, to survive. But that's a phony survival. The real survival is elimination of wanting to survive, because the survival is already our nature. Survival means being, not being. There's really not much left for us to do, because we already know what happened to us, and we already know that we have incredible amount of choice rather than being victimized. And what is it left to do? We don't need anything else. We know what created pain, and we know by knowing that alone, we see things clearly and we can stay. We don't change our lives. We don't change our job. We don't change our role. We just know it beautiful. And that knowingness, if it's contemplated, if it's kept fresh in our mind, as things come to fool us, as it has happened to all of you, we know. We say, I know that. And that's it. Don't think that we have to achieve an estate. We already left the unreal estate by knowing the nature of it.
One part of me feels like I would forget without satsang, but then another part of me says there would always be something to show me the way.
Don't pay attention to either way. Just drop them both. You don't need to find a solution or fear of losing, because you are not the doer. You end up in the right place at the right time. Nothing is your responsibility. As we trust that, we have less fear and more confidence to the fact that I know the grace is with me. That's how you feel when you drop both sides. Holding on to something is like denying you already have it. Namaste.